Hello everyone and welcome to a very shiny and blingy episode of What's on My Desk. So we talked about aftermarket watches before. We talked about aftermarket, bust down, after setting, fixing. There's many numerous terms that people use for original watches. They get diamonds put on them. Aftermarket, not by the manufacturer. Now don't worry, before you guys say, wait a minute, Roman, are you starting to sell bust down watches or aftermarket set watches? I am not selling them. You will not see these on my website. I did pick a few up from a dealer friend of mine while I was in Dubai who specializes in doing this stuff. And again, there's nothing illegal about doing this. And he basically told me, why don't you try it on a wholesale level? So I picked up a few models just to try and decided to talk to you guys about aftermarket watches. I've said it before, there's absolutely nothing wrong with customizing watches. The only reason I don't sell aftermarket watches is because I feel like the two shouldn't mix. I feel like you either do one or the other. Because the minute I put an aftermarket timepiece onto my website, it will make you guys wonder, well, wait a minute, is the Rolex with the bezel that's online original? Or is it afterset? Because he's got all these afterset watches and so on and so forth. And this is the reason why I don't do it. Have I sold afterset watches to clients of mine? Absolutely. They have called me, requested, and said, listen, Roman, I want to bust down my Rolex. I want to bust down my AP. For two reasons. Either they want to spend the money on an original set diamond watch, from whichever brand it may be, or they want a particular design that the manufacturer does not make. And I brought an example of that. And again, I don't have many of them. I brought 5 pieces here, and one of them is a Rolex Datejust 2, and the other one is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak chronograph. None of these watches exist in nature, meaning none of these watches are made by any manufacturers. Now, these 4 watches are actually exactly the same. I won't unwrap them just because when I do, my inventory girl Anastasia wants to kill me.
Roman, what the
I just don't want to get into it with her. And all this is just a different variation of exactly the same watch done in a very, very cool manner. Rolex Datejust 2. A watch that today trades at about $8,000 the way it comes, because due to the stainless steel Rolex hype. And what my buddy did is he created a Roman dial, he created an Arabic dial, an emerald markers dial, and a sapphire one. And I have a ruby one, I just can't seem to find it, but you guys get the idea. I'm gonna pick up one of these watches. I'm gonna go with my favorite one, which is the emerald markers dial. And the watch looks stunning. If you're into diamonds, and you guys know I'm into diamond watches, I often wear my Royal Oak chrono with the diamonds. Again, that's an original one. It is entirely pavé with diamonds. The entire bracelet is done, the bezel, the case, as well as the dial. One thing to mention, this is not an original dial. What they do is they pull out the original dial and they make the dial that you see here, because it's a lot easier to make the dial from scratch than take the existing dial and set it with diamonds and the emeralds. Size of the cases are all, again, a fully diamond watch. I can tell you the wholesale price of these things. I'll be wholesaling them at $17,500. On the retail end, people would probably ask $20,000 to $22,000 for these particular timepieces. Let's talk resale value. And I've told you guys before, unfortunately, very unfortunately, these timepieces tend to tank in value once you put them on your wrist and try to go to resell them. Why? Because it becomes quote unquote a not original Rolex. Rolex doesn't make a watch such as this. And while, as I talk about, so let me show you the close-ups of some of the other pieces here. It is a thing of beauty. Quality work, done well, just a beautiful watch. If you're looking to pick up a watch that's fully diamond encrusted, that's not going to break the bank, certainly afterset watches are the way to go. They become cheaper when they're done overseas. It's more expensive to do this here in the United States. Outside of the fact that there's 15 carats of diamonds here, and obviously there's a cost behind that, you have to consider the fact what it costs to set each individual diamond. In order to get the work perfect, and I'll see how close up I can get so you guys can see how well these diamonds are set. In order to get this type of work, you really need a qualified setter, really somebody that's been doing this for a while, somebody with experience in order to get this looking this good. And so I mentioned it's cheaper to do these things overseas. Unfortunately, labor is much cheaper overseas versus the United States. Oftentimes, these pieces will be done in Asia, Hong Kong, China. A friend of mine that does these, he literally has 12 guys sitting upstairs in his office, and all they do all day long is they set these diamonds. He has them working full time, where versus in the United States, they usually charge per stone. A really good guy will charge upwards of $2 to $4 per stone, where somebody somewhat mediocre will charge 50 cents to $1 per stone. But having them made overseas, it's not exactly done that way, and it comes out to be a little bit cheaper. I couldn't build this watch here in the United States for the cost that I picked them up at. So again, If you're looking to buy a watch that doesn't break the bank, but you want to show off, because that's what these pieces are really about. They're head turners. This is something you walk into a club with. It shines like a bright star. Everybody sees you got a big encrusted diamond watch on, automatically assuming that you have a lot of money. And don't dub this to be a rapper's watch or a hip hop watch, because everybody and their mother buys this, regardless of your color, your race, your background, and so on and so forth. Everybody loves diamond watches just the same. Maybe it is the hip hop cultures that got everyone to wear diamond encrusted chains and watches, but nevertheless, I would wear one of these, but again, I choose not to. I only choose to wear original set diamond timepieces for the simple fact that I'm a retailer. I've been a retailer for 20 years and I chose not to go this route, and therefore I'm going to practice what I preach, and I won't wear one of these simply because I don't want people second guessing me as a watch seller when they're buying a diamond encrusted watch from me that's original from the manufacturer. So there you have it on a Rolex. Last, I'm going to show you something from Audemars Piguet that I absolutely fell in love with, and I would actually consider wearing this and wish that AP made this. We all know the hype of the Rainbow Daytona, Rainbow Sapphire Hublot, Rainbow everything else. Lo and behold, here's a Rainbow Royal Oak chronograph. And again, this isn't something that's made by the manufacturer. Audemars Piguet came out with plain Royal Oaks, 15400 ORs, diamond dial, rainbow bezel, if you can pop those on the screen, both in white and rose gold. And those things are trading through the roof. The retail on them is a little bit over 100,000. They're trading at $200,000 because rumor has it they're only making so few of them. Again, hype created on the market by dealers and collectors alike. I don't know how true that is, so I won't comment on that. But here's a Rolex Chrono rose gold with a diamond dial that resembles the original Royal Oak on a bracelet that's fully encrusted with diamonds, that's original, and a rainbow bezel. So tell me this, if I told you this was original, most likely you would believe me. I could have told you this is a limited edition of 5 pieces, you would have believed me, but it's not. This is an after-set job. It's a great job. They did a really, really good job. Again, this watch is wrapped in plastic, so I apologize for not being able to fully show you the beauty of this thing. It's just unwrapping them is a bit of a pain.
Roman, what the
But this is a case where I myself, as an AP lover, as a watch guy, as a watch dealer, say to myself, AP, take note, make some of this stuff. This is gorgeous. If AP made this, they would retail this for probably $150,000 because they'd probably add more diamonds on it and so on and so forth. This is just one creative mind looking at a model of a watch and saying, you know what, I wish they did that. Well, let me do that. Get out there, get a qualified craftsman to create what I just showed you, and voila, you have a beautiful watch. On a model that's arguably one of the most popular models in the world today, the Royal Oak chronograph.
100 G's worth of ice on the Audemars.
So in conclusion, there's a few things you need to take away. Number one, you have to be someone that likes diamond encrusted watches or gemstone encrusted watches or blinged watches, as you want to dub them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting out there, getting yourself something that is after set or busted down, as they call it in the US, right? Or fixing, as they call it in the Middle East. Why is there nothing wrong with that? Because again, buy what you like first and foremost, within the price range that you can afford. For you to get out there and get a fully encrusted Pearl Master or President, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg from Rolex, where you can save yourself tens of thousands of dollars by going out to a guy that does after set diamond work and picking up a cheaper stainless steel watch that's fully encrusted in diamonds around a $20,000 price range versus, let's say, $100,000. If you're someone that says, oh, you know what, I wish Audemars Piguet did this on that particular model, then guess what? You can get out there, buy the model, and change it however you see fit with a qualified jeweler that after sets watches. And it doesn't have to be Rolex. It doesn't have to be Audemars Piguet. People do this with Richard Mille. There's a lot of after set Richard Mille RM11s out there. Original RM11 diamond encrusted in rose gold, I think, is upwards of $200-some thousand, where you can go get a pre-owned rose gold RM11, the first version, not the 03, put diamonds in at the cost of, let's say, another $5,000-7,000 and save yourself 70-80 grand. There's lots of ways to do this, and if you choose to do that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I personally don't see anything wrong with this. The manufacturers may scream and yell that you're not supposed to do this to our watches and this is a big problem and so on and so forth. But in reality, they shouldn't really be too upset. And the reason for that, because bottom line is it's still their brand name on that watch, and people choose to after set Rolexes more than any other watch, which shows the popularity of the brand. Surprise, surprise. I've told you Rolex is number one. And whether it's after set or not after set, it's still number one. Now, I've seen people after set pretty much any watch that they own. I've seen people after set Chopard's. I've seen people after set Hublot. Hublot is another very popular one that gets after set. The $1 million bang that's all encrusted with the diamonds sideways and every which way that costs like $1 million. They after set that as well. Patek Philippe is probably in the top 3 afterset watches today.
I got Patek on my arm. I put Patek on my arm. I put Patek on my arm.
I've seen guys afterset the anniversary piece, the 5980 in white gold that sells for like $350,000, 3 times over its retail value. I've seen people take that watch, afterset it with diamonds and sell it for $400,000. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you like, what you love. And if it's your watch, you can choose to do whatever you want with it. So there you have it on afterset stuff. Again, I don't know if I've covered enough about this, so if you have any questions, comment below. I'll try to answer them in Q&A. I would like to know your thoughts, so do comment below. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know what your opinion on afterset watches, aftermarket. I know there's going to be 2 split opinions, but I really want to hear about this. So comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I told you I take criticism well. If you have a negative comment about this, comment below. Let me know. What's on my wrist? For now, I went back to my Royal Oak. I was wearing the Piguet Type 20 for a while. This is a watch that will never end up being encrusted with diamonds, much like some of the other afterset stuff you see out there. I definitely wouldn't want to diminish the value of my original Royal Oak Genta. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this blinged out, afterset, busted down, aftermarket diamond episode. If you liked the video, as usual, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're already not subscribed to my channel. And I'll see you guys next week for more watch reviews and other videos.